Welcome back, everyone. My name is Patrick. You're watching the Oilers Rundown, broadcast on the Oilers Fanatic and the Heavy Hockey Network. Well, it wasn't a good weekend for the Edmonton Oilers, that's for sure. Back-to-back losses to the LA Kings and Anaheim Ducks. In both games, the Oilers had multiple points where they led by multiple goals, and yet they fall in both games, only picking up a single point on the weekend. So to say it was a frustrating weekend would be downplaying it a lot for the Edmonton Oilers. So definitely looking for a better result when they take on Utah HC tonight. I'll be headed to the game, so I'm really hoping the Edmonton Oilers can find a way to get it done here. I think all of us in oil country are hoping for a much better result against Utah tonight. So have a few topics that I wanted to cover with you guys. I mentioned in my Fanatic Rundown following the Oilers and Ducks game that I wanted to talk a little bit about Jeff Skinner, and we'll get to him, but let me start with Ty Emberson. He was a topic on 32 Thoughts with Elliot Friedman. He's reporting that he would not be surprised if the Oilers signed Ty Emberson long-term in January. So I think this would be a good move here for the Edmonton Oilers. Ty Emberson has come in on a value contract, essentially replacing Cody Ceci in that trade with San Jose. And Emberson has gotten better with each passing month. He's looked really good with Brett Kulak. He's been a great depth defenseman for the Edmonton Oilers. I think he's even seen a little bit of top four time. So this is a guy I think the Oilers should invest in. They can probably get him on another value deal here. I think we can expect some news on Ty Emberson come January, re-signing with the Edmonton Oilers. I'm guessing a 3 to 4 year deal. In regards to the lineup tonight, as the Oilers get set to take on Utah HC, Bob Stauffer reports from the Oilers practice on Monday. We saw a lineup of Nuge, McDavid, and Hyman, Podkolzin, Draisaitl, and Arvidsson, Janmark, Henrique, and Brown, Perry, Ryan, and Kapanen, Jeff Skinner, the odd man out. On defense, Ekholm and Bouchard, Nurse and Stetcher, Kulak and Eberson, and Stuart Skinner is expected to get the starting goal against Utah. So that's the lineup. Jeff Skinner out for the second straight game for the Edmonton Oilers in favor of Derek Ryan. And when you're one of the prize free agent signings for the Edmonton Oilers and you're getting removed from the lineup in favor of Derek Ryan, who certainly hasn't been terrible, but at the end of the day, the Oilers should be benefiting more from having Jeff Skinner in the lineup over Derek Ryan, and that's not a knock on Derek Ryan. That's just the impact that's more expected from Jeff Skinner. Derek Ryan's a fourth-line guy, should probably be the extra forward at this point, but he does provide things for the Edmonton Oilers, certainly not denying that. But obviously, as we all know, Jeff Skinner was coming in expected to be a top six forward, playing with either Leon Draisaitl or Connor McDavid, and when he has been in the lineup, it's been usually in either a third line or a fourth line role. He clearly does not have the favor of head coach Chris Knobloch. He has trade protection, so I know a lot of people bring that up. Well, there's no way the Oilers can trade Jeff Skinner without his say-so. That is true, but Jeff Skinner, he's putting on a brave face. He's smiling to the public, but he can't be happy here with the way things have gone with the Edmonton Oilers. This can't be the way he pictured his season going. Head coach Chris Knobloch commented today saying that Jeff Skinner can be put in a situation where he can succeed, playing with other players who would help his game, but a lot of it's just him finding his game and how he usually plays. When asked if there are avenues to get Skinner more time in the top six, Knobloch said it would primarily come down to if the Oilers experience injuries or if someone's playing the top six falls off, possibly Podkolzin or Arvidsson. Knobloch also praised Kapanen, Janmark, and Brown, according to Daniel Nugent-Bowman of The Athletic there. So I know the Oilers are a Stanley Cup favorite, or at least in the mix anyway, and Jeff Skinner signed here for that reason, for a chance to play in the playoffs, for a chance to go for the Stanley Cup. And I'm certainly not trying to run Jeff Skinner out of town. I was excited as the next person that he signed with the Edmonton Oilers, and I really hoped he was going to be a match with either McDavid or Draisaitl, but for whatever reason, I know he hasn't been the best defensively. He's not the hardest on the puck, but these are things the Edmonton Oilers knew bringing in Jeff Skinner. It seemed like head coach Chris Knobloch just was not a fan of Jeff Skinner right from the start. We saw it in the drop episode on Oilers Plus when the Oilers were talking about bringing in Jeff Skinner. The looks on Chris Knobloch's face, it didn't look like it was a match with player and coach right from the start, and it was pretty quick for Jeff Skinner to get moved down the lineup. So I think Jeff Skinner would waive his trade protection to go to another playoff team. The Oilers have Evander Kane coming back here eventually. I believe the last word that Evander Kane was coming back in March, so it's certainly not a rush to get Jeff Skinner out of the lineup. So I don't know if we're going to see an immediate trade or anything like that, but I think a trade is likely for Jeff Skinner at some point here in the very near future. Maybe I'm wrong. Who knows, in a few months from now, maybe we're talking about Jeff Skinner being a big playoff hero for the Edmonton Oilers. With the way things have gone to this point, with the way head coach Chris Knobloch uses Jeff Skinner, with the evidence that we have to this point, I don't think Jeff Skinner is an Edmonton Oiler past the trade deadline. As reported here by Carmen Gill, Bob Stauffer saying the Oilers need help in the top 4 on defense and the bottom 6 on forward. He said that all he is going to say is to give the general manager some time. So expect some moves from Stan Bowman here before the trade deadline. Obviously, the Edmonton Oilers looking for that Stanley Cup, so certainly no surprise saying that the Edmonton Oilers will be making moves. We know they need probably at least one more top 4D, if not maybe a number 5, but Troy Stetcher's been struggling lately. As we talked about earlier, guys like Ty Emberson have stepped up here for the Edmonton Oilers, but for defensive depth, the Edmonton Oilers definitely looking for at least another number 4 or number 5 guy, and definitely someone for the bottom 6 as well. Maybe it's internal options like Noah Philp, like Matt Savoy. Will those guys get an opportunity? I think Noah Philp definitely will for the Edmonton Oilers here going forward, but guys like Matt Savoy may have to wait for next season. But let's see what happens injury-wise, what other moves the Edmonton Oilers make. Maybe a guy like Matt Savoy will get an opportunity here going forward. And one final note for today, former Edmonton Oiler Jesse Puljujarvi was put on waivers yesterday by the Pittsburgh Penguins. A few questions, rumors out there. Will the Edmonton Oilers pick up Jesse Puljujarvi? The price would be right, but Edmonton Oilers have been down that road a couple of times. It just didn't prove to be a fit here with the Edmonton Oilers, so I don't see them going after Jesse Puljujarvi once again, but let's see what happens come noon. Maybe I'm wrong there on the Jesse Puljujarvi front. But I think that's all I have for now, guys. Let me know your thoughts on all of today's topics. What do you think about Jesse Puljujarvi, Jeff Skinner, the lineup for tonight against Utah? Let me know all your thoughts in the comment section below. If this is your first visit to the channel and you like what you see, please consider liking and subscribing for all the latest Oilers content. You've been watching the Oilers Fanatic. Thanks for being a fan.